Hello everyone, this is the video on the angle bisector notes. And to bisect something just means to cut something in half. Or into two equal pieces. And you can bisect anything. It doesn't have to be something in geometry or something in math. You can bisect anything. If you're cutting something in two equal pieces, then you're bisecting it. Now specifically today we're going to talk about angle bisectors. And an angle bisector is a ray that cuts an angle in half. Okay, so here I have ray DB. Let's start here at D, ray DB. Okay, and that's bisecting the angle ADC. So we can put little markings here to show that it's bisecting it, just like we did on segments when they were congruent. I can put little arcs in here to show that those are congruent. So now I know this side, if this side, I don't know, happened to be 30 degrees, then I know this side would also be 30 degrees. Okay? They are equal. So bisect means to cut in half, and both sides are going to be equal. So now, this one we're going to draw ourselves. So we're drawing angle MXD so that it's obtuse. So I know it has to be bigger than 90. So I have MXD. It's obtuse angle. And then it says add the ray XY so that it bisects the angle. So I'm going to figure about where halfway is and say, all right, that's about halfway. That's going to be ray XY. And now it's bisected. And you can use two arcs like I did on the previous slide. You could use one arc, or you could use three to show that the angles are the same. Alright, so now let's get into some problems. So, it's telling me that DB bisects ADC. So DB, here's my ray, right there, and it bisects the angle ADC. So it's cutting this angle in half. Then it tells me that ADB, that would be the right side here, ADB is 24 degrees. So I know since they're the same, this side is also 24. So when it asks me for these two angles here, ADC is the whole angle. So 24 plus 24 is 48 degrees. And then CDB is the left side, and that would be 24 degrees. Don't forget your degree symbols. Remember, that's like your units. So you need to have that there. Now my next one is just a little bit different. It's still saying that DB bisects ADC, so I still know that these two sides are the same. But now it's telling me the whole angle. So ADC, the whole thing, is 136 degrees. And now the questions are asking me for the two little angles in here, ADB and CDB. So to get that, I know they're the same, so I can just divide it in half. And that gives me 68 degrees. So I know both pieces are going to be 68 degrees. Because they're the same, so we can just divide it by 2. Now this one has two bisectors. So there's a little more going on in this one. So I'm going to draw it as best I can here. ZX, so here is ZX. ZX bisects YZV. So that means this piece and this piece are equal. They are the same. Now it also tells me that ZU, that would be this ray, bisects TZV. So that means that this one and this one are the same. Now notice I've used different markings. I used 2 arcs over here and 3 arcs over here. You don't want to use the same markings for all 4 because you don't want to think that all 4 are the same, because they're not. These 2 are equal and those 2 are equal. Now if I look down here, it tells me that YZV is 84 degrees. So YZV, that's this whole angle, is 84 degrees. And then over here it tells me that TZU, that's this little tiny angle here, is 16 degrees. So before I even look at the bottom to see what they're asking me to fill out, I'm going to try to fill in all my angles in here. So if this one's 16, I know that one's also 16 because they're the same. And then 84 is the whole angle, but its two pieces are equal, so I can divide that in half to get that each of those is 42 degrees. And now it's a little bit easier to find what they're asking for at the bottom here. So XZY, and I'll try to do this in different colors to help you out. XZY, so XZY is going to be 42 degrees. Now YZT, so YZT is the whole thing. So I'm going to add 42 plus 42 plus 16 plus 16, and that total is 100. Now TZV, let's see where that is. TZV, that's just those two little ones there, so 16 plus 16 is 32 degrees. And finally, let's see what color, green. XZU, so XZU is going to be right there. So that's going to be 42 plus 16, which is 58 degrees. Okay, so hopefully the color-coded helped you. If you ever need to know where an angle is and you aren't sure, just trace it like I was tracing it with the colors. Like TZV, start at T, then go to Z, then go to V, and it'll show you exactly what angle you need to find. Okay, our next one has a straight angle. So we know a straight angle, NLJ, this is just going to be a straight line, that's 180 degrees. And it tells us that LM, our ray LM, bisects KLN, so that means that these two are going to be the same. And then it tells me that KLJ is 126, so that would be this piece here. Now again, before I even look to see what they want me to find over here, I'm going to try to fill out my picture. So if I subtract 126 from 180, I get 54 degrees. So I know that this whole angle here is going to be 54. Well, it has two equal pieces, so I'll just divide that in half to get 27 degrees. And now I know that these two pieces are 27 degrees. And now I can look and see what they're asking for. So KLM is 27 degrees. JLM would be 27 plus 126, which gives me 153. MLN is just 27 degrees. And JLN, that's my straight line, that's 180. So again, I always think it's easier to fill in the picture and then fill in what they're asking for. Alright, two more. Here's another one with two different bisectors happening. First it tells me that FE bisects HFD, so HFD, FE is going to cut that in half. And then it tells me that FH bisects GFD, so FH bisects the whole thing, so this side is the same as that whole angle. And then it tells me that EFH is 37 degrees. Okay, so 37 degrees, my red markings, two of them here and two of them here, means that this would also be 37. Now, if I add 37 and 37 together, I get 74. So that means that this side is 74, so this side also has to be 74. And now I can look and see what they're asking for. DFH is 74 degrees. GFD, that's the whole thing. GFD, so 74 plus 74 is 148 degrees. And EFG. EFG is this right here. So it's going to be 37 plus 74, which is 111. And finally, the last one, and this one's kind of tricky. You really have to think about this one. So they give us a lot of information over here on the left. UT bisects SUP. Now it tells us here at the bottom that SUP is a straight angle. That means that this is exactly 180 degrees. So if UT is cutting that in half, that means that both sides have to be right angles. They have to be 90 degrees. Okay, so that's a little tough to think about, but just remember 180 divided by 2 is 90. So that's how we get the two right angles. Now it tells me that TUR is 64. So TUR, 64 degrees. And then QUP is twice as big as RUS. So QUP is over here, and RUS is over here. Well, I don't have either of those angles right now. So I need to figure out how to find one of them. Well, again, this was a right angle. So if I take 90 minus 64, that's going to give me 26 degrees. So this little angle in here is 26 degrees. Now it says QUP is twice as big as that. So if I take 26 times 2, I get 52 degrees, which would be that piece. And now to find my last missing angle here, I would just take 90 minus 52, which gives me 38 degrees. So now I know them all, so I can fill in over here on the right. So QUT, 38 degrees. QUS, okay, let's do this in a different color. Let's pick yellow. QUS is those three right there. So 26 plus 64 plus 38 gives me 128 degrees. PUR, let's go green. PUR, right there, so I'm going to add up 64 plus 38 plus 52, and that gives me 154. And finally, RUQ, so RUQ is right there. 64 plus 38 is 102. I know that was a lot of information, and some of these problems are a little bit difficult, so if you have any questions, just ask me, or you can rewatch this video as many times as you need.